It's having served as a member of the European Parliament, you get a far better understanding of the long-term nature of our relationship between Britain and the EU. I believe strongly that we were only ever really interested in peace, in stopping war and attacks against us from the continent and elsewhere, and trade, of course. So I think that did help to shape the Brexit messaging and where we ended up, because we want friendly relations with the EU and we want a great trade deal, and I believe that's where we are. As regards Brexit, the actual referendum, it was a process. It wasn't just the referendum itself. It took years, decades, and really the whole campaign never really stopped. The campaign for independent Britain kept it going after it was lost in 1975 and that referendum. And it was, sort of, it just grew in strength through UKIP and others promoting it. The referendum party demanding a referendum was very key. What I wanted to do, my own personal contribution, was to put the arguments across, and I did a number of communication materials, a video which interviewed Norwegians, and a lot of the same arguments are used in their referendum against actually joining. That was actually the referendum about Norway joining the EU, which is the recent one. And they were very similar to the arguments used against us in the Brexit referendum. So I wanted to learn from the experience of Norway. So I went over there, I interviewed people, I got them over to the UK. But really what it was, Brexit, was David versus Goliath. I always knew we'd be up against it. Big business, particularly big corporates, were very much in favour of the EU. We'd have all of that firepower thrown at us. But at the end of the day, and I was there at the Manchester Count, what extraordinary evening that was, early morning, to get the result. But the first thing I was determined to do was thank the British people, because all we could do, as those that believe in Brexit, was put our case to the British people. 17.4 million people voted for Brexit, and it was decided democratically in a huge vote. But it was down to the people. The people decided, and putting arguments to that, and speaking, and materials like videos and booklets and books and speeches and lots of communications. That's all we could do. But at the end of the day, it was down to the British people that they chose to Brexit.